טליה, תגידי רגע.
His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, President and Presidents of the Ben-Gurion University and all distinguished guests. I am Nachi Alon, President of Yativ, the Israeli Friends of the Tibetan People, conjointly with the Ben-Gurion University.
I think the sound not very good.
לא, אתה לא מדבר.
Okay. Is it better now?
Oh, yes, better.
All right. I am Nachi Alon, President of Yativ, Israeli Friends of the Tibetan People. His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Professor Braverman, President of the Ben-Gurion University, and all the distinguished guests. We are honored to have His Holiness the Dalai Lama here. Conjointly with the Ben-Gurion University, we invited His Holiness because we were hoping that his message could make an impact on our war-torn region within the Israeli society and also between the neighboring society. There are deep conflicts, and we need urgently another way of tackling these problems, another realistic way, and His Holiness is the person who could help us to conceive of other modes, non-violent but effective. And we would like also very much that the Israeli public will support the Tibetan cause. Tibetans are under severe conditions, and His Holiness is struggling for decades to create a dialogue with the Chinese government, and we have to learn from that and we have to support that. So for this dual reason, we have invited His Holiness, thanks to the Ben-Gurion University, and please.
Your Holy Highness, Nachi Alon, distinguished guests, and of course, friends of Ben-Gurion and from all over. I would like to say a few things to make things clear to the Israeli public and to others. Ben-Gurion University and אם אפשר באמת, and that I'm going to complete my presidency soon. I'm on leave and enter the parliament. I want to make things perfectly clear that Ben-Gurion University and I myself were a great admirer of the Chinese people. We're working together with China. There's many Chinese students here. And if God will help me and I'll be in the next Israeli government, I'll strengthen the relationship between Israel and China. David Ben-Gurion, our first prime minister, wanted to have a diplomatic relation with China in 1956. But the Americans didn't allow us. Secretary of State John Foster Dulles didn't give us the permission. David Ben-Gurion, at the same time, went to Burma, met with Premier Unu, that later became the Secretary General of the United Nations, discovered Buddhism. During his visit, he stopped the visit, went for 3 weeks to meditate in a monastery until he died, and he lived here in Sde Boker, believed that the message of Buddhism may be even the most important message that he tried to combine in his concept of being light unto the nation with Buddhism. Therefore, we are honored, I am personally honored, to host today, the second time, His Holy Highness, maybe the most revered spiritual leaders today in the world, that all his life is about compassion and tolerance and teaching us. I must say, and I have few friends here, that I read many of the Dali Lama, His Holy Highness books. But as I told you in a private meeting, I'm still a very bad student. I'm not that successful. We need you here. We are in troubled land, in a troubled world. Politics is usually run by passion, by desire, and not enough by compassion, tolerance, and understanding. I pray that your presence here will bring more harmony, more listening, inside this state, in the region, and with God's help, in the entire world. We bless your presence here. This is the second visit of His Holy Highness. In 1999 he was here, and I didn't repeat the mistake I did last time. Last time, in 1999, I described to him the problems of the Israeli society, and I told him, what shall I do about that? And he told me, Professor Braverman, you're smarter than me. I don't see all the problems and I'm happier. And we start laughing. This time I didn't ask him. I jumped to politics, but this is not... I need all the blessing of you, and I would love very much now, before everybody came to listen to you, I would like to bestow upon you the Negev Award, because we believe, all the people here at Ben-Gurion University, that here is the future of Israel in the Negev, the way David Ben-Gurion told us. In the city of Abraham, where the children of Yitzchak and the children of Ishmael, Jews and Bedouin, are working together. The people here, we try to create new reality in the Negev. We've been successful somehow. We want to do it more. With the path of tolerance, patience, and love, maybe we'll be succeeding. And therefore, on this special day, Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolved to honor His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet, Tenzin Gyatso, and bestow upon him the Ben-Gurion Negev Award in recognition of a revered spiritual leader who pursue a path of peace and reconciliation, forgiveness and compassion as an example for others around the world. In deep appreciation of an exemplary individual who has remained steadfast as guardian of ancient traditions and heritage, and a symbol of hope and faith. And in acknowledgement of the laureate of the Nobel Peace Prize in 1989, who has led the people of Tibet for more than half a century in quest of universal responsibility, solidarity, tolerance, and mutual understanding and respect. Beersheba, February 16, 2006. And now, Your Holy Highness, we are waiting to hear your words.
It's okay like that.
I prefer to speak from this chair because the timing of the flight from India and Tel Aviv, very bad for me. That night my sleep lost completely. So although last night quite sufficient sleep, but some stomach problem, little, not serious, not serious. So I apologize to speak from here. Firstly, to President, you received me, and also you mentioned since my last visit, now number of students of this famous university is much increased, and also the standard of education here is a very top. So I really feel as an admiration, and all these happen because of concerned people's effort. So thank you. So President just mentioned now he wants to carry different way of life. So I will pray your new career, new field will be successful. And you denounced the Trishishmi.
And I would also like to express my thanks to you for offering this award and the medal.
Now, this time, I think this is the fourth visit here, Israel. The main purpose, since my friends, they some music, beautiful. I think better to better to listen music rather than my talk. So, for the visit, since some of my friends, mainly because of Hong San Rasa, my old friend, long-time friend, I usually call him ex-soldier, very tough. No? So he wants to express sort of desire I should come once more and may help to cool down the situation. Then I told him, oh, me just alone, go there, may not much benefit. So, if possible, some Nobel laureate, together come here, then maybe some more effective sort of contribution. But in any case, I think when Iraq crisis about to start, some people asked me I should go to Baghdad and do something to prevent violence or war. That sort of suggestion I feel unrealistic because I have no connection. Any people in that area. But then soon I felt, now including Nobel laureates, some thinkers or some scientists, some like former politicians, like President Havel, respected, well-known, respected individual should take more active role where things about to burst. So, I wrote a letter to President Havel. Now in the future, President Havel himself and also some other Nobel laureates and some other respected individual, now we should make some kind of plan, some kind of organization, and wherever some crisis is about to happen, I think a group of people who are no one's representative, just a mission of peace. If fail, nothing lose. So should take more active role. Then President Havel agreed, and also I approached former President Nelson Mandela, and also Bishop Tutu, and some other more. So all agree, and also another Nobel laureate, Jewish Wiesel, Elie Wiesel. So now this time, the things, I think now becoming more, more new trend, so more critical. In a way, critical period, if we handle properly and without too much emotion, use human intelligence and human patience and human wisdom, I think the critical period may produce long-lasting peace. So this is, I think, the crucial period. I feel. So now this time, my main purpose is interact with public. So now this, I feel great honor to speak in a famous university with the name of Ben-Gurion. I think you are father of this nation, almost like. And this is the first time I know the Ben-Gurion, as a result of visit to Burma, he developed some kind of attraction or inspiration from Buddha's teaching. In any way, I feel great honor. And particularly here, everybody's face, young and old, very freshness and smile. I love it. I feel smile is the, I think, expression of our inner warmth, that I think easily come across any differences of race, difference of religion, difference of political system or economic system or background, family background, doesn't matter. So long we are same human being. We all have the human feeling. And naturally, when we met another human being, because we are same, so we communicate through gesture or inner warmth. So I really appreciate. So your similar sort of smile face should show other your neighbors. I think, I believe, ultimately, nobody wants suffering. Violence brings more suffering. Now, I think my second visit or third visit here, I found in both community, Palestine as well as Israeli, there are some small group who really want peace on the basis of reconciliation, harmony. That kind of, I think, the small pocket now seems to be growing. And that's just my my view. Of course, I'm not specialist in the problem in this area, but still part of human problem. So there, I always believe human spirit, human wisdom, and human willpower and patience certainly, I think, have important role. I myself, we Tibetan, now more than 50 years, almost same almost the same period. 48, 49. So many decades passed, still problem, not yet solved. So during this period, and since we become refugee, now 47 years, they were passing through, and inside Tibet, many difficulties, painful experiences. However, we never give up our hope, and we always keep our spirit, our determination, plus patience. So I think as a human brother who have similar experiences, I want to share this. Now about my talk here. The universal responsibility. I think I will explain. Of course, I will tell you about, I think, 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, then some question and answer. That's very useful. Through that way, our interact becoming more meaningful. And also through questions, I also get some new ideas or new, new informations. So, please prepare some questions. And don't ask silly questions. but, you know, sometimes some reporters say silly questions, then I answer. Then still repeat that question. Then sometimes I lose my temper. So that's, I think, best way to test whether Dalai Lama can lose anger or not. Anyway, so the sense of global responsibility, I feel this is key thing. And number one, as an individual person, the more you have, the wider wider perspective, you get more inner strength. The more narrow self-centeredness, more fear, more inward weak sense of weakness. Because I think it is quite simple. Think just oneself. Me. Then even small problems appears unbearable. When you think about others, about a larger community, then with that kind of attitude, even serious problems not appears as very significant or overwhelming. Because, you see, the attitude makes differences. Think oneself, and in deep insight, sense of insecurity. Think other, there is sense of self-confidence. And that now even modern scientists, especially the brain specialist and neuroscientist, now they have found more compassionate mind. The left side of the brain becoming more active. So this is good for health, and this is a healthy sign. I think one small sort of example, my own sort of story. About 5 years, I think 4 years ago, there's one serious illness while I was in Bodh Gaya, in one state in India, very poorest state. In meantime, very important Buddhist area. So I developed some problem in intestine, very painful. But that day, I passing through different villages by car. So I saw many poor people, and particularly one old person. It seems to be a sick person, but no one taking care. Just lay down. And that night, although physical, very painful, but in my mind constantly you feel, oh, those poor children, no proper education there, no proper care of education, or even without shoe. Many children in the street. So constantly you think these, remember these things. So that immense help to reduce feeling of my own sort of pain, like that. So that's my own little experience. So think more about the bigger issue or welfare of the bigger community than your own problem. Then sometimes you feel, oh, okay, it doesn't matter, that kind of feeling. So through that way, you build inner strength, self-confidence, less fear. As a result, more peace of mind. Peace of mind, your sleep will be sound sleep, no need because of sleeping pill or tranquilizer. Sometimes in America, I think many years ago, one occasion, long journey that day, and lunchtime, we stopped at one family, looks very rich family, and after lunch, I went to the bathroom. Then the one box there in the bathroom, a little open. So then I thought, maybe not serious, because illegal. Right? I opened the box covered. I saw one pill named tranquilizer, and I thought, oh, this rich family, they also need some kind of tranquilizer. So these things, unless some inner strength or right kind of attitude, then wealth may not guarantee. you will be a happier or peaceful mind. So more peaceful mind, your health also improve. Peaceful mind creates immediately some kind of pleasant atmosphere. That brings more friend, more smile. That reduces sense of loneliness at this individual level. Then there's society level. After all, we are social animal. So no matter how powerful one single person, that one single person is, he cannot sort of survive without other fellow human being. So I said, in spite of quarrel or fighting, we have to live as a group. So human society now bring more happier society, more prosperity society. I think rules and regulations, these also make some differences, but mainly I think individual's attitude, individual sense of common responsibility, think about common interest, and create more friendly or more compassionate society. Then all the member of the society will get much more happier and prosperity. Then global level. In ancient time, I think community or nations isolate, more or less independent. Now today, in modern world, now that picture completely changed. They all, because the whole world are heavily interdependent in the economic field as well as environment issue, and in many fields now heavily interdependent. That's now new reality. So therefore, in ancient time, when you are isolated, your future not depend on neighbor or other, then the concept of war comes. Destroy of your enemy, so-called enemy, it is victory of yourself. Now, new reality, the others, your neighbor, also part of yourself. So therefore, destruction of your neighbor is destruction of yourself. Clear. Like a whole world, like one body. So different act or different sort of shape, but all are part of one body. So similar thing. So I think now here, I think both Palestine community and Jewish community, I think both should have, you see, we are neighbor. I think in practical way, I think because of the new state, I think this part I think much previously I think more desert sort of area. Now since new state, I think this now Greenland, and a lot of constructions, a lot of sort of economic development. So actually, I think our brothers, sisters of other community, I think should feel or should realize the new community come. Although some now in the past, now some problems, some fightings, even today, some violence things happen. But should think overall picture, holistic picture. I think new community bring much more prosperity. And similarly, from Jewish people side, I think you also, economically or education or many fields, I think you, in a way, I think, has a better position. So you should know the others' sense of I think word may not be, nice or right. The other, let's say, weaker, some kind of, that kind of feeling, that I think should know. So, accordingly, you should treat them with respect, recognition. So, on global level, the sense of global responsibility, sense of universal responsibility is very, very necessary. I feel many problems is essentially our own creation because of the reality much changed, but our sort of the way of thinking or way of handling still the old way of thinking. So this gap, our look, our perception and the reality gap, therefore many of our way of approach becoming unrealistic. As a result, even tiny things, tiny problems, eventually, easily, is becoming out of control. So therefore, according to new reality, now concept of war, I think outdated. This I always mention, I always express. And also, I think history shows the 20th century, I think a century of most bloodshed. I think millions of people killed and a lot of destructions. Whether we like it or not, 20th century becomes century of bloodshed. Now, 21st century, I think we should try to have the century of dialogue. Because the human problem among the humanity always remain. So we must have effective, the proper method to face these problems. That's a dialogue. Since everyone is part of yourself, right? No. Part of you, therefore treat them as your neighbor, as your part. So respect them, recognize their interest, and must have the sense of concern of their fear, right? And talk and share. I think that's the realistic way. So this century should be a century of dialogue. And then usually I describe, in order to achieve the compassionate, peaceful world, we need internal disarmament and external disarmament. I think in some sense, I think the limitation of nuclear weapons, these things are now happening. So now eventually, I think our world should be free of nuclear weapons and chemical weapons, germ warfare, these things. Then eventually, I think the military forces, I think eventually should reduce like that. So in order to do that, first, in our mind, we should develop some kind of sense of global family and regard others just part of your own family member. And any problem through dialogue. Try to solve through dialogue. So that's my main belief. Wherever I go, I always share these thoughts. I think you may not know. I have 3 commitments. Number 1 commitment, promotion of human value. That's which is regarding global responsibility. Then second, my commitment is promotion of religious harmony. Then third, about Tibet. So these 2 commitments, first and second, is my lifelong commitments. Till my death, I committed. The third Tibet issue, that's not so voluntarily, but because of the Tibetan people, mainly because of Tibetan people, put a lot of trust and hope on me. So therefore, I have this moral responsibility. But we already have the elected political leadership since last 4 years. So since then, my position is something like semi-retirement. So the final decision always in his hand, not my hand. So since this is unvolunteer sort of commitments, so still I involve some way. But when the day of our return with certain degree of freedom, then I will hand it over all my legitimate authority to local Tibetan government. That local government should be eventually elected democratic government. So that is the my main sort of commitments. So with the commitment of number one, number two, number one, just I mentioned. Now number two, the religious harmony. Many conflict, like Northern Ireland and some other. Even the same Muslim country, same Muslim, but Sunni and Shia. Such unnecessary problems. And Catholic, because Northern Ireland, Catholic, Protestant, both is a follower of Jesus Christ, but divided. And Buddhists also.
And Jews also.
Yes, I notice there's some different sects among the Jews, Judaism. Even I think Buddhism, of course, no serious sort of conflict. Otherwise, there's some kind of divisions, so-called Hinayana and Mahayana like that. Recently, I heard this one Chinese expressed they are Mahayanists. Tibetans are not Mahayanists; they are Hinayanists. So one Chinese expressed that way. We always find some reasons, right? Maybe that's no help, no use. In spite of different philosophy, different concept, if you look closely, all major teachings, you see, carry the message of love, compassion, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, and separation. The essential of the teaching. The philosophy, whether there is God or whether there is next life or these things, are the philosophical sort of the concept in order to strengthening these main practice or main message. So, understanding that, then there is real sort of basis, come together, all different traditions, and mutual respect, mutual admiration. So that I always do. I think as far as the religious harmony is concerned, I think I made some contribution. Like that. So, that's about my talk. Now some questions. Yes?
Somebody there?
Yes?
יש מיקרופון? מיקרופון? בבקשה, כן. רק תרים את הכל כי אין מיקרופונים.
Yes.
You mentioned the tension between the religions, and in the last few years there is a great tension building up between Muslims and Christians and Jews in the Western world. And in the last century, the tension between religions went down, and now it's rising again between Muslims. And do you think there is a possibility to create some kind of United Nations or parliament of all the leading religious leaders like you and the Pope and others that will harmonize the religion? Because this is what what is building up the newest tension right now?
Of course, other leaders like Pope and some other leaders are certainly, I think, making effort for more harmony. But usually, my approach, actually, now, there's 4 methods. Number one, the meeting with scholars from different tradition and discuss more on academic level what differences, what similarities, and what purpose of these differences. I have strong belief to some people, concept of God, Creator, is so powerful in order to develop love, compassion, these things. In my previous visit here, one occasion, one Jewish teacher in his class, Palestinians and Jews both, and he once told the student, whenever you find someone who feel you feel a little uncomfortable, then think the other person as an image of God. After he lectured or he taught his student about this concept, then afterward, many students actually appreciate that. Whenever they saw the person from other side, think about image of God, then the fear or uncomfortable feeling or hatred reduce. So, to some people, concept of God is very powerful. But then to some people, the responsibility to oneself, according to Buddhism and also some other ancient Indian tradition, they concept something like self-creation. So everything depends on yourself, on your own shoulder. That concept is very powerful. So in any way, the different philosophy, same purpose, to help humanity, to pursue humanity, to be a warm-hearted person, sensible person. So this is number one. Number two, meeting with practitioners from different traditions. Discuss, exchange their deeper inner spiritual experiences. For me, that's very powerful. As I mentioned before, you see, on many occasions in Israel and also in the United States, and one occasion in Dharamsala, some rabbi, a group of rabbis, came. One, I still remember, it's very, because of the fur.
With a fur hat.
Fur hat, yeah.
Fur hat. Oh, I remember. So, they exchange their deeper sort of spiritual experiences. My own case, a few decades ago, the Thomas Merton from America, one Catholic Trappist monk, he came to Dharamsala and we spent a few days, several hours of discussion. And then I really, as a result of our discussion, or meeting, I developed genuine admiration or appreciation about Catholicism, like that. So therefore, the meeting with practitioners and exchange their deeper experience, very, very powerful sort of way to understand the other sort of value. Number two. Number three, group pilgrimage to different area of different tradition. Since 1975, I started this practice. Firstly from India, then many area I whenever I have the opportunity, I visit this area, not as a tourist, but as a pilgrimage. And here in Jerusalem also, 2 occasions, we visited second group as a group, or second time as a group. So that very, very,
Thank you.
again, very powerful. For example, in Lourdes in France, and Fatima in Portugal, I visited as a pilgrimage. And particularly in the Fatima, I remember very clearly, the one Mary statue, like this size. We spent a few minutes in silence meditation. Then when we about leave, then I turned back to look the Mary statue. That actually that statue smiling towards me. Perhaps my eyes something goes wrong, maybe. So I really feel something. So the pilgrimage, and also in Bodh Gaya, some Christian friends, as a exchange. First I visited their center and give some lecture. Then as a exchange rate, their group come to India and under Bodhi tree, every morning, I think 3 days meeting. So every morning, about 30 minutes, we sit together and meditation. I think that's historic. So like that, this is because of the group pilgrimage to holy different places. Then fourth, like RCC meeting, leaders come together and speak one word, the same word peace, harmony. So these, I think something like grassroots sort of movement. Once you see the grass level, more active harmony, then eventually leadership find easier to speak. So that's my way. And here Jerusalem also is a few occasions. One of my previous visit is some religious group and some Muslims also there. Within a few days, we become a very good friend, very nice Muslim. Like that. Next question. Yes.
I wonder if you've seen the movie Sansara about the Tibetan life, and whether you might comment on the theme of the movie, that the relations between men and women and sexuality are something that we still haven't gotten right and that are at the root of a lot of our problems.
Your Holy Highness, Professor Bellmaker is a noted psychiatrist.
No, unfortunately, I didn't see that film. I don't know. Of course, attachment. I think in human mind or human emotion, attachment and anger, these two things are most important part of our emotion. So suppose attachment brings to divorce.
The attachment does the function of gathering together the agreeable factors to you.
Attachment towards sort of clothes, towards food, towards friend, towards sort of, and then of course the sexual, even animals. I think those animals who remain lonely at the mating time, they bring together. Sometimes bring together for fight. In any way, like that way. So the attachment brings the facility which you need, which helpful your survival or your sort of satisfaction. then anger is expelled. All the negative forces which you feel harmful to your own survival. So without attachment and anger, we cannot survive. But both attachment, anger, both actually very much related with ignorance. Recently, I met some psychotherapist today. Psychotherapist. He told me when hatred or anger develop, the other looks very negative. But here, 90% of the negativeness is actually mental creation, mental projection. I think that's very similar sort of explanation in ancient Indian thought. Also, you see, they explain these things. So when we saw something good, yes, you accept as it is, not exaggerated, then that level, normal mind. Then attachment, then exaggerate. The small sort of amount of positive, now exaggerated, larger.
No.
And similarly, the anger, some negative thing there, but further exaggerated, then 100% negative, then hatred or want to destroy that. So although attachment and anger need, but the attachment, the anger, ignorance,
so now our job here is to look for some other means which can perform the same way where the attachment gathers the conducive factors and the anger or the hatred dispelling the disagreeable factors. So we should look for some other means which is not tainted by ignorance. Whereas these two, attachment and aversion, they are tainted, they are polluted by the sense of ignorance involved.
I think mind and emotion, vast subject. There are thousands of different minds or different emotions. Some are unrealistic, some are realistic. Generally speaking, all those unrealistic emotions are, or exaggerated emotions are usually harmful. So now, the last, almost now, I think almost 20 years, I have, from time to time, some meeting with scientists, including neuroscientists, and also medical scientists. So they're quite interesting to discuss. We also learn from them very useful things. And also to scientists, also you see the Buddhist explanation gives them new angle to look their own fields.
Thank you.
I know one person, I think. Sit down, please sit down.
First, we'd like to welcome you from the family of light. We are making a project of building a city of light in the Negev. City of light.
Yes.
And we'd like to ask if we can have 2 minutes after the lecture to give you a personal message.
טוב, זה לא מקום עכשיו.
Okay. Yes.
I represent Peace TV for Israeli and Palestinian young generation. I want to know, how how you consider the power and spirit of the youth for peace, and what advice can you give them?
Now, younger generation, of course, in any society, the younger generation, they are the now key sort of the people who really making new shape. And meantime, sometimes young people more impatient. And also, I think young people thorough explanation, right? Discussion. Some kind of discuss. Maybe sometimes I think the youth, their mind more open, so there is more room to discuss and can see the reasons. But sometimes old people like me, brain somehow fixed, so sometimes it's difficult to understand the new reasons or new concept. So in any way, that's the only way to bring peace, harmony, and happy society. So meet, talk, discussion, some kind of the workshop, right? Workshop, no matter how small scale. I think here. I think the grassroots level, right? Grassroots level work is very essential. These are the problems. This cannot solve from, I think, above or leadership. Of course, leadership make differences, but the main work, I think, on people's level must work. I think for my own case, the Chinese leadership, of course, sometimes it's difficult to understand about our problem. But nowadays, among the Chinese people, some intellectuals, some artists, some Chinese businessmen, is really getting deeper awareness about Tibetan problem. So they are showing genuine concern or genuine sympathy and sense of solidarity. Like that, I think the people's level, constant work, that's very essential. You always face some disappointment, some obstacles. Don't give up your hope, right? Make effort. This Tibetan saying, 9 times broke, right? Or 9 times effort. Right?
Thank you. It's Your Holy Highness. It's lunchtime.
And
one more
lunch,
question, okay.
A meeting, them, what are we going to say? I don't know. I'm just wondering. You have special dress, white. So I don't know what's their plan. I don't know. So out of curiosity, I want to listen. What is you are going to say? Oh, I think last question. This one.
I'm a member of kibbutz.
Kibbutz,
what is this unique community? It is based on the commandment in our Torah, "Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha," love your friend, your neighbor like yourself.
Yes.
I think it's like the idea, your idea, that self-concern begins with concerns to the other. Do you agree?
I agree.
We agree.
No.
Jewish heritage to your philosophy?
Jewish that I don't know.
Did you take from
but just yesterday, I met one young boy. That's 66.
Yes. So yesterday he has met with one young boy, and who was also citing the same thing, saying that just as you love yourself, you have to love others. That's right.
Love yourself as much. Love yourself. Must love to other. This is exactly, you see, this sort of same message or same teaching, same practice. Buddhism also is practice that. And the Christianity also, love to God, love to fellow human being. I think all these religious traditions carrying the same message. But then message itself, sometimes we feel, oh, wonderful. But when we come across some problems, then this message sometimes easily forget. So the important is, while we believe these concepts, then we must find ways, means to overcome this obstacle. That's, I think, equally important. Now, for example, everywhere, peace, world peace. Everybody wants peace. But then, without proper, realistic handling about this problem, how to bring peace? Difficult. Therefore, you see, the love to oneself, even that also, sometimes you lose because of the much sort of frustrations. Then sometimes you yourself feel hated, a little bit hated, isn't it? So, the kanta top the
So it is very important that while you are pursuing to enhance the power of the positive thing, it is also equally important to reduce the power of the negative thing.
This was Mr. Yadlin was the former Minister of Education during Rabin's first government. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, experienced person. Very good. Thank you.
Okay.